Sound speeds, and it has been since long before camera was ready, and the reason is because we don't wait on sound. Yes, there are jokes out there of, oh, well, I'm gonna wait on sound right now because we happen to ask for 10 seconds to fix a lav or something along those lines. But this is an industry all about picture, and they can spend 2 hours lighting if they want to, but if we ask for 10 seconds to finish putting a battery inside of a transmitter, there seems to be a big freak out, and that's when all the jokes come out, oh, waiting on sound. That gets kind of old, doesn't it? Well, the reason is because people don't actually wait on sound. We're not supposed to wait on sound. Sound is traditionally setting up a boom over the actors, and that's been something that has changed throughout the years. As a matter of fact, in recent years, we've been lav micing almost every single person that speaks in a scene. Now, the reasons you would not normally want to do that, and most mixers, of course, have bought into this, but not all. The reason you do this is because in the world of production, there is sometimes wides and tights that make it unboomable. And if it's too wide and they have to run a tight at the same time because they've scheduled a 15-day into a 12-hour day, they sometimes say, well, we got to run those together. And the mixer has to play the lav mic instead of the boom because they got to match to this size. But we have to be very proactive regarding our time utilization, especially when it comes to getting talent on set. Ideally, when talent first comes to set, when they come out of hair, makeup, and wardrobe, they want to come to the sound department where they get their lav mic on. That way they have a chance to forget about it by the time they go on set, they start learning what second team's doing, and they continue to learn their lines. If they go on set straight from the sound department, people are going to be like, well, what are we waiting on? Oh, they're at sound. We're waiting on sound. No, you're not. We've been waiting for them for 45 minutes. You just have not brought them to us yet. And when you decided to, you brought 6 people all at the same time to get lav mic'd, and there's going to be a little bit of a queue. I'm sorry, that's just the nature of it. But if you properly organize, you can make sure that you get the actors in different staggered times, so that way no one is waiting at all, even getting lav mic'd. Because quite frankly, you have a better chance of annoying actors and having them be more resistant to wanting to get a lav mic if they're waiting around for it. Usually by the time the actors get to set, they've forgotten about sound because the boom operator is stealthily hiding in the back of set someplace, while the camera operator and dolly grip are tweaking the moves with second team where the camera's going to be, while the focus puller is checking all of their marks, and the key grip is maybe adding a lenser to the lens of the camera, and the gaffer is adjusting the last little bit of the lighting level, and the DP is on set just double checking to make sure that the actors are not going to be blocking each other or casting a shadow on each other. This is the way set works. In the meantime, sound is always there. It's always listening. And as long as we are not obstructing the flow of everything, we're going to be forgotten. And that's actually a good thing for us. And because we're out of sight and out of mind, producers, directors, script supervisor, and everybody just naturally assume we work. And as long as everything is working and in harmony, there's no problem. It's only when things fall out of harmony and people are suddenly like, I can't hear anything in these, do we actually have an issue. And that is when sound could have a delay. You want to anticipate those potential delays and address them before they happen. I know it's difficult when we happen to do rehearsals out there with second team, and when the actors come in and they start looking at everything, they're going to act differently than second team. And in this day and age, we don't always rehearse with the actors all the motions and all the actions and everything until we decide that we're going to shoot the rehearsal. Well, I'm sorry. You shoot the rehearsal. It's actually not a rehearsal. It's shooting. And by then, it can be too late. And sometimes directors may say, oh, good, we got lucky. Let's move on. Well, hopefully you got it. It's easy for us to say, okay, now that we've seen it, we need to add a plant microphone right there. While camera says, oh, that worked perfectly. Let's just do another take. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. We still need to add it. It was very important for the sound department to actually get a rehearsal, but since we didn't, we rolled on the first one. Now we know what's going on. And if you gave us this rehearsal earlier, we could have seen how we needed to address the scene and we could have planned accordingly. However, Now we have to adjust, and you want to anticipate. If you think there's going to be a use for a plant someplace, have it close to you. Have it in with all the Joe Sticky stuff, or the top stick, or the super stick, or whatever you need, black paper tape to put those plants in there. Maybe have one of them sitting on your boom caddy nearby where just in case you need it, you can put it in there. Hopefully, though, you've already added it in there and it's not going to be delaying the show because you anticipated it and saw how the camera needs the actors to move when they were working through it with second team. That's one of the reasons why a boom operator doesn't need to leave set ever. Sometimes, and I do mean only sometimes, is it appropriate to delay production, and that is usually only if the sound utility needs 3 seconds just past the hair, makeup, and wardrobe tweaks just to make sure that the lav is perfect. In those circumstances, that's fine because it's not a true delay. However, if a sound person says, oh, I forgot to put out context, that's a delay everyone's going to note. That's going to be something the production is probably going to make note of. The first AD is going to call that in to be put on the PR saying, we were delayed by sound because they didn't have context out. Too many sound delays is going to get you in trouble. Yes, it can be hours and hours in lighting every day, but this is not about lighting. Remember, sound is just expected to work. And because we're expected to work, we're not expected to delay anything, even when they bring us in an hour after call, which you shouldn't do. You should actually fight that if they ever try to do that, because you can always say, no, I do need to actually come in at the same time as the rest of the crew, with exception of if there's a long special effects or stunt setup or something like that. But you do not want to be into the habit of showing up late because they say, oh, well, sound will be ready anyway. That's when they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. And you do not want to be in the middle of that, even if you are brought in late, because you're going to be thrown under the bus. Don't do that. That's a side note. Sorry for that tangent. I've known sound people to be fired off of jobs because they delayed production even only a few minutes. Make sure you anticipate and work through with second team and the camera operators and everybody what needs to be done before you actually run a take with first team. Because if you're out there and you need to tweak something, they're much more likely to give you the time you asked for and not call it a delay if you were there working hard on it the entire time. If you've been asleep in the corner and they say pictures up and you run to set and then you want to do everything, they're not going to have any tolerance for you. So make sure you're constantly on set, make sure you're proactive, you're trying to get things done because you do not want to be a delay to production. That is great sound advice.
Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.